Spending more than you think? Our guide to avoiding impulse purchasing. Have you ever gone into a store to buy something but come out with more than you intended to buy? If so, you likely made an impulse purchase, a purchase made without much conscious awareness. This can happen for a number of reasons. Companies spend a lot of time and money learning these reasons. They want to work out how to bait customers into making more impulse purchases, which equals greater profits. One reason for making impulse purchases is related to people's emotions. When people are in an emotional state, they are more likely to buy things they want rather than need. This is because they might want to find something to cheer themselves up or reward themselves. There are other reasons people might spend their money in this way. For example, those who consider themselves cool might want to buy things that they think look fashionable. There are external factors too. People are more likely to spend more when they're with friends and less when they're with family. Hello, everyone, and welcome to English for You. I'm Mike.
And I'm Laura.
And I'm poor Laura. I've been spending more than I thought.
You shouldn't have.
I know, but every time I see something cool on the internet stores, in the real stores, I just gotta buy it. My credit card is burning up in my pocket. I've been using it so much.
I think
terrible.
You should learn to, hold your horses and, avoid impulse purchasing.
I know, but it's something that's really hard to do because, A, we want stuff, especially when you're shopping online or using a credit card. It's not even like real money that you're spending. And, of course, the other thing is that the businesses, the companies have set it up to make it hard for us to not buy stuff, right? They're very clever. So that's what we're going to be looking at for the next couple of days. Spending more than you think? As a question mark, asking you, are you spending more than you think? Our guide to avoiding impulse purchasing. That's what we're talking about. All right, so let's get into our article. It says here, have you ever gone into a store to buy something, but come out with more than you intended to buy?
Yes.
Yes, I have done that. I try not to. I'm pretty good at not doing it, but definitely I have done that.
So we mentioned the word intend. 这个动词呢，就是计划、打算或是想要。那我们常常会用 intend to， 就是打算要怎么样，想要怎么样。所以课文一开始就在问脑波弱的人吗？说你曾经进入商店想买东西，但最后却买了比原本计划更多的东西吗？那答案是肯定的吧，应该大家多多少少都有发生过脑波弱的时候。
If you've done this, and you probably have, if so, you likely made an impulse purchase. And what is that? It's a purchase made without much conscious awareness. So this is not something that you thought about yesterday that you really need. This won't be on your shopping list. This is the kind of thing that you're walking around the store and you go, ooh, look at that. Ooh, I want one of those. Because it is something that you bought without much conscious awareness or conscious thought. When we use this word conscious in this way, we're talking about doing something by really thinking about it. Here's an example for this word conscious. Gabby wasn't conscious that she snored when she was asleep until her sister told her. Well, of course, she wouldn't be conscious of that. She's asleep at that time. We also had the word awareness. I'll just get to that real quickly. Awareness is to know about something, all right? If you hear the news, if someone told you, if you saw it on the internet, if you read the email that someone sent you, you have an awareness. You are aware of this thing, all right? Here's an example. Wendy wants to organize a group at school to raise awareness about the dangers of light and noise pollution in the city.
That's good. Okay. 不管是我们今天的这个主标呢，又或者是刚刚的句子，我们都提到了一个东西，就是 impulse purchase。OK， impulse 其实就是有冲动哦，它可以当作名词或者是形容词，有着一时冲动的意思哦。那 purchase 同样也可以当名词或者是动词，都有着购买呀，或者是采购的意思哦。那我们的标题是它的动名词的用法。Impulse purchasing, OK? 那常常我们在口语也会用 make a purchase, OK? 这样子来表示采买采购。那刚刚有提到两个单字哦 conscious 就是有意的存心的，它是一个形容词。 For example, I was conscious of my budget while shopping for clothes, so I only picked out the items on sale. 我还是有小小注意一下我的荷包啦。还有 awareness 这个名词就是意识啊，这样子认识的意思。For example, his awareness of the latest memes made him the go-to person for all things viral. OK, 他对最新的迷因梗的认识，使他成为所有热门话题的专家，就大家都会去问他吼。那课文整句是提到说，如果你是一个脑波很弱的人哦，就是你可能是因为冲动购买，也就是在没有太多的意识的情况下进行购买哦 ，shopping, shopping, shopping。Why
does this happen? Well, it says this can happen for a number of reasons. We do this for a number of reasons. It says companies spend a lot of time and money learning these reasons. When we talk a number of, right, this can happen for a number of reasons, it is basically saying several, many, more than one.A
number of something 就是一些什么什么，那可以只限用于可数名词哦。For example, a number of friends showed up at the party with their favorite snacks. 那课文提到就说，发生的原因可能有许多种哦。那这些公司会耗费大量的时间和金钱研究这些原因哦。为什么我们会冲动购物
？Okay, back to the article. They want, that's the companies, they want to work out how to bait customers into making more impulse purchases. Which equals greater profits. To bait is basically to use something to attract a person or a thing, all right? The most typical way is what you put on the end of your fishing hook, like a worm or a little piece of food or something to try to get the fish to bite onto the hook so that you can pull the fish out of the water. That little bit of food you put on the hook to try to attract the fish, that is called bait, right? Worms, we often use worms as bait when you go fishing.So that's what you're doing. You are also, as a verb, baiting the fish with the bait or with the attractive thing. But there are, of course, other ways to bait other people or other animals. Here's one. The bully tried to bait Tommy into fighting him by calling Tommy rude names. And we also had the word profit, which is a word that comes to us from the world of business.Profit is basically the money that a company makes after it has paid all of its other expenses or costs. For example, most new restaurants won't make a profit for the first 6 to 12 months after they open. Wow, it's a tough business.OK,
bait 这个动词哦，是引诱或是使什么什么上钩。那介系词 into 就是有着引诱或者是说服或是强迫某人做某件事情，所以 bait somebody into something, V-I-N-G 就是引诱某人去做某事。For example, they managed to bait him into joining their weekend camping trip with the promise of stargazing and s'mores.我真的可能会被骗哦，我是很想要去 camping 这样子。那刚刚还有提到了 profit, OK, 这是个名词哦，就是有盈利、利润这样子的意思哦。而刚刚同个句子当中还有 equal， 在这里是当作及物动词，有着与什么相同或是等同于这样的意思哦。And we also saw the phrase work out, didn't we?
Yeah, to work out something is basically to solve something, kind of like with a problem or some kind of situation where there isn't a clear answer, and you have to kind of do a little bit of work. Imagine also one of those long math problems where you have to figure out X and Y, and it's not as simple as 5 plus 3. You got to work it out. You got to go through different steps in order to reach the end, to reach the solution or answer.work
out something 就是找出或者是制定出什么满意的方法哦。OK, so 我们看到这个课文整句是说，他们想找出如何引诱顾客进行更多的冲动购买，而从而获得更大的利润。这些公司们非常聪明，想要让我们花更多钱啦。
All right, back to the article. It says one reason for making impulse purchases is related to people's emotions. Yeah, often you're not really thinking about these purchases. You just look at something and for some reason your brain goes, I want. I need. It's not on your list. It's not something you thought about. It's not conscious, right? It's related more to your emotions, to your feelings. If something is related to something, there's a connection there. There's some kind of link there. It has to do with that thing and not other things. So these types of impulse purchases have more to do with your emotions, your feelings, than thinking clearly with sort of logic.
Yeah, be related to something 就是与什么有关，所以课文是说其中一个冲动购买的原因是跟人们的情绪有关。Interesting.
When people are in an emotional state, they are more likely to buy things they want rather than need. So there you go. You're not thinking with your brain, you're thinking with your heart or maybe with your stomach when you're looking at delicious snacks. And you're just like, I want it, even though if you think about it for a few seconds, you realize you don't need it.
这里我们有提到 state 当作名词，就是身体或精神的状态。我们常会用 in a something something state in an emotional state 就是在情绪的状态 in a bad state 在不好的状态等等哦。不过这里我们先来看一下我们今天的 language in focus. Let's take a look. 今天我们的 language in focus 是要看 rather than 的用法。rather than 作为对等连接词使用，表示而不是。那使用时一定要注意前后的结构，词性应该平行对称。OK， 所以我们可以从本句的语义来判断前后结构的平行对称之处。另一个原因是人们通常想要买他们想要的东西，而不是需要的东西。所以由上面就可以知道，结构平行处就是 they 之后的动词 want， 以及 rather than 后方的 need 这两个哦。我们再举个例子哦。She would prefer reading a book rather than watching a movie on a lazy Sunday afternoon. OK， 这里有看到吗？她就是在悠闲的星期日下午，她更喜欢阅读书籍而不是看电影哦。那类似的句型还有就是 would rather something than something， 就是宁可或者是更想怎么样而非怎么样。那前后皆为原形动词，所以它可以替换句型如下，就是主词 would rather， 然后动词 than 另外一个动词等于主词 prefer to， 然后原形动词 rather than， 然后原形动词。我们这样讲可能不是很清楚，要说个例子会更清楚哦。Mark would rather cook dinner at home with his family than eat out at a restaurant. 等于 Mark prefers to cook dinner at home with his family rather than eat out at a restaurant. 都有着 Mark 他宁愿在家与家人一起做晚餐，而不愿在餐厅用餐哦。那课文提到就说，当人们处于情绪化的状态的时候呢，他们更有可能购买他们想要而不是需要的东西哦。
All right, back to the article. So this is because they might want to find something to cheer themselves up or reward themselves. That's why you might reach for that chocolate bar just as you're about to leave the store. It's not because you're hungry or need chocolate. I don't think that's a very common situation. It's because you want it. Your brain says, yum, and then you buy it. Or maybe you're sad. Yeah, maybe you're cheering yourself up. Or maybe you're rewarding yourself. Maybe you're like, hey, I did really well on my test today. I deserve a chocolate bar. Again, it's based on emotions. And definitely, when you cheer somebody up, yourself or another person, you're talking about emotions because that means to make someone feel happier. You do something nice for someone, you give them a hug, you tell them a joke and make them laugh. You take their mood from kind of sad or down or blue to a happier state.
cheer somebody up 就是使某人高兴或是振奋起来哦。那 reward 在本课是当作动词，有回报啊，或者是奖赏。所以课文提到就说，这是因为他们可能很想找些事情来让自己开心起来，或者是犒赏自己。所以，这个时候我们要担心一下，会不会又要开始花更多钱哦。
Okay, let's see what it says next. There are other reasons people might spend their money in this way. For example, those who consider themselves cool might want to buy things that they think look fashionable. Someone who's fashionable is in style. They are in fashion. They are following all the latest, coolest trends. They know what all the cool people are wearing. And when the styles change in 6 months, they will know that stuff too. Like Carla. Carla is always fashionable. She just has a natural ability to look stylish.
Fashionable 这个形容词就是流行的、时髦的。常我们中文说你很 fashion， 这是错的。我们应该说 you're so fashionable. Okay, Regina always wears the most fashionable clothes and sets the trend in her friend group. Okay, 所以课文提到就是说，还有其他一些人可能会以这种方式花钱，例如那些认为自己很酷的人啊，可能会想要购买他们认为非常时尚的东西。
All right, there are external factors too. So what we've talked about so far, a lot of the internal factors like your emotions that are guiding you or controlling how you spend money. But there are external factors, things that aren't about you or your feelings. They're outside of you. It says people are more likely to spend more when they're with friends and less when they're with family.That's interesting. I didn't know that. So if you're out with your friends, you are more likely to kind of open up your wallet and spend your money in a crazy way. But when you're with your family, you're not because you don't want to buy your cousin another ice cream cone or something like that. But anyways, these are different factors. These are external factors in this case. What is a factor? It's an important part of something. Now, it's going to be connected to other things. They're all part of something, but it's on its own in some special way. Here's an example. When planning a bicycle trip around Taiwan, there are several important factors to think about. The first is safety. Then it would be, where are you going to stay? How are you going to get food? What kind of bicycle will you bring? How much will you prepare? These are all important factors or parts of planning a really good trip.OK,
刚刚我们有提到，其实还有外部的因素 external factors, OK, 可能会造成冲动购物哦。Factor 就是因素。要素，它是一个名词哦。那所以人们在跟朋友一起时，更容易花更多的钱。I didn't know that 在与家人的在一起的时间花费比较少。I thought you could actually get your mom or dad to pay for the stuff you shop for.Okay, so I didn't know that you actually buy less.
Oops. All right, so our chat question is, what do you think are some problems with often making impulse purchases?
I think some problems include ending up with items we don't really need and then feeling guilty about wasting money.
That's true. You might buy it in the moment, but then, when you get home, you're like, oh, no, why did I do that? It's true.
Yeah.
You can feel quite depressed and sad and angry with yourself, too.
Right, and it can also throw off our budgeting plans,
Definitely.
making it harder to save up for things we truly want. Plus, impulse buys might not always be as cool or useful as we thought in the heat of the moment.
Yeah, especially with new things, right? The internet is often filled with ads for new products, and you kind of want to be the first. You're just interested. It looks really cool. And then you get it home and you realize it's not as good. You didn't need it, and you spent money on it that you don't really have. So yeah, it's better to think consciously. All right, that's all the time we have, guys, but we're going to come back with more great advice on this same topic tomorrow. So please do come and join us for that. And no, you don't need that chocolate bar at the store this afternoon, okay? Just put it down, put it down, and you get it another time.
Okay.
Vocabulary Review.
Conscious. Mike spoke without conscious thought and ended up upsetting people with his unkind words. Awareness. The organization is raising awareness of the waste caused by fast fashion. It hopes to teach people to give unwanted clothes to other people. Bait. Leonard tried to bait Penny into telling her secret by saying that he already knew about it. Profit. The company should find a way to improve marketing if it wants to make a profit. The sales right now aren't looking good. Fashionable. Everyone thinks that Liz is very fashionable. She always wears the latest clothing styles. Factor. The pay, working hours, and amount of work each day were all factors in Lucy's decision to accept the job.
智慧小补帖
Intend. Impulse. Purchase. Reward. External.